You look great, mate.
If I'd have known, I'd have combed my beard.
Right, welcome back to part 8, Q&A number 8, and even more of your interesting questions answered and taken the mickey out of.
Yeah, the questions are far more interesting than the answers, aren't they?
Definitely. So here today we have us three, so yeah, you know who it is. Right.
And I do have to apologise to Mike and Millie because I didn't make the cake. I'm sorry, I haven't had time. I'm
Right.
so sorry. But in,
What have we got
in
for
honour
this?
of the Americans, Mississippi mud pies.
Yes, indeed, Mississippi. I'm going to enjoy those.
Do I need a passport?
What are you having?
He's got an Easter egg.
I have Easter eggs.
Easter eggs, right.
Right, are we going?
So let's do some more.
Right.
Martin Carey.
Martin Carey. Hello, Martin.
If you had a very best friend or a 17-year-old child, so they were going to learn to ride, get a first bike, someone you care about, what would be your to-do list or don't list to keep them safe?
Well, if they're going to first start riding, I did that with yourself, didn't I? I found an instructor who was a very special fellow, didn't I, Trevor? Very, very clever, very talented
Very
instructor.
patient.
Very patient guy. He needed to be with you. And and that was I think it was the faith, that leap of faith to put you in the hands of an instructor to get you through your test. It's just finding the right instructor, finding the right training school, finding the right bike and investing enough money to make sure you've got a safe vehicle to put them on.
And the time, not just the money. It's investing the time, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you owe it to yourself to keep the people you care
I think
about
there's
the
a
very
point-
best you can, don't you?
Isn't there a point there with youngsters? If you've got a youngster who's going to do something, aren't you better off controlling it, taking charge of it, facilitating and financing it so that they can have the right thing?
Yeah.
And an item, a motorcycle or a scooter or whatever, of quality that you approve of, that does the job, not forbidding them from doing it, and then they go out and ride up the road on some old field beater that's dangerous because you won't let them. So, you know, it's inevitable they'll do it, but just guide them in the right way and obviously be there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Life is twists and turns. You can't stop someone doing what they want to do.
No, absolutely.
You can't stop people being who they are, can you?
Alright, Max Piercy.
Hey Max, hi mate.
He wants to do a motorbike project. Can you explain how do you choose a bike for customisation and what should he consider?
Ooh.
TDMs are good, aren't they?
You need several tins of black paint.
Yeah,
That's
a
all
brush.
you need.
That's all you need, a brush, an afternoon, and you can finish by tea time.
Steel frame. I always say steel frame.
Yeah, I go with that.
Do you know what I would say?
Go on.
Think about what you're going to end up with at the end.
Yes. Yeah, wise words well said.
Yeah.
When you've done all that work and all that money and all that effort, are you still riding up the road on a piece of shit that's shiny?
Or a
You can't polish a turd. If you buy a
end up on
bike,
125, are you actually going to want to ride it? And is that going to be your bike?
a lot of people do that when they build rat bikes. They go out to try and buy it. I want to build a rat bike, so they go and buy a £2.50 crapper from eBay.
And it will always be a £2.50.
Yeah, you can't polish. So it's got to be something that when you're finished with, it's got to be something you really want to ride. It's got to be better than it was. You've got to pick something you like. So if you want a really cool muscle rat bike, go and get a ZRX 1100 and then start with that. And then once you're done, you're going to have this brutal, mad-looking ZRX 11. Go and start with an SR250. It'll always be an SR250, and you'll never make it look brutal, will you? You might look a bit miffed. You might look a bit angry. But it'll always be a turd. At the end of the day, start with the right bike, innit? That's the good point. Right. You're clever. See why I keep you on.
Bex. Hi Bex.
Hey Bex. Hello Bex. Bex is very cool.
If you don't ride over the winter, is it best to start the bike up and let it run or not? Car bikes this is, because she's seen a lot of different opinions.
Yeah, there are many opinions on this.
Oh. It's how long you run it for, isn't it? If you run it for 3 minutes, no, it's all bad.
That's very bad.
You know, it's condensation. You've got to get the bike hot enough to vaporise all the condensation water that forms inside the engine the minute you fire up the button. And also that goes to things like the fuel. You're going to run that fuel through. As that fuel deteriorates over 3 months, you're running worse and worse. You can put stabiliser in it, can't you? But that doesn't necessarily always do it. Sometimes it's better to just lay them up and then unlay them in.
Well, my SV1000 will probably not get used over the winter for a period of about 12 weeks while I use exclusively the TDM.
Yeah.
I service it before it gets put away. And at the midpoint of that 12-week period...
Sorry, we're both distracted
yeah,
from
both distracted by Kate. At the midpoint of that 12-week period, I fire it up till it gets hot enough that the fan kicks in.
That's it.
And then I
shut it off. 2 fan cycles, yeah. I used to do it on a Hayabusa. 2 cycles of the fan, on and off, and then switch it off. So it's good if you do it long enough, After you, mate.
I can't speak now. So, something about land bikes.
Oh my god, they smell gorgeous.
Yeah, don't they? Very nice. Mississippi mud pie. too nice. Okay,
Right.
next one. So I hope that helps,
Good.
Beck. There you go.
Peter Lubeck, have you ever owned a BMW? Because he rides an R1100 RS and he does all the repairs thanks to the channel.
Well done. Thank you. Glad we can help.
Top man.
I have. Have you had one?
What, a Beamer?
Yeah.
No.
I have.
I have had a Neville, which is like a BMW.
It is, yeah.
Only Russian and...
Didn't happy.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah,
Um,
and it was full of shit as well.
It was full of shit, usually are, aren't they? I've had two Beamers. I had a Boxer Cut R850, which was disappointing in the extreme, and I had the coolest. I had a K1200 RS.
Oh, now that's
That
a
was
Beamer
very cool. I
jacket.
like that, but it was red. It did look like a post box laying on its
Now,
side.
you see, I can't buy red ones.
No, it did look odd. I did sell it quite quick. Maybe I should have just painted it, but it was awesome. K1200 RS is probably the only Beamer. I'll tell you what I do like though. I do like. Have you seen the Street Fighter? Someone tell me what they are, please. It's the Street Fighter K. It's a K series motor in a Street Fighter with kind of alien-looking lights and stuff. I've seen several of them.
We saw one at the Southampton bike show.
Exactly that bike, yeah. And you're standing looking at it thinking that is way too cool to be a BMW. But it is very, very cool. So K1200 RS had that, loved it, great bike, awesome machine. I can't do it with boxers. Not really, I don't do it for me. So there you go. Thanks, mate.
Moving on, Daniel Wilson, what's the rules regarding HID kits on bikes? Is it a good idea? Because his headlight is shockingly dangerous.
Leaps out
So we've got to deal with his crumbs first.
Yeah. Oh, crumbs.
You can answer that one.
Right. If you want to be pedantic, in order to fit an HID headlight on any motor vehicle, it has to have self-levelling suspension. Otherwise it fails to meet construction and use regulations. But if you take it to an MOT station and it fails, you'll be the first instance of it that I know of.
Ever.
I don't know of anybody that's ever had a problem with fitting them from a technically legal point of view.
No.
And they are a huge improvement, massive improvement over anything that ever came out of a
Sodium bulb.
a bog standard light bulb. Yeah. But,
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to put one in the Hayabusa.
Yes,
It was mad. You could see for miles before, and it was a lovely white light. And it does draw less current.
Yeah, it does.
They're like LEDs sort of thing, aren't
It's like magic.
they?
Cool.
Magic in a cup.
It's a lightsaber.
Jokes are free. You get to enjoy those well.
Right, Kung Fu Cookie.
Cool name.
What a great name.
That's great. It's like a cartoon character, isn't it?
Thank you.
A biscuit with legs that wears a little kimono.
He rides a YZF R125. Another
Cool.
one.
Cool. Come on,
In all seasons, rain, ice, snow. Well done.
Yeah, top man.
Yeah.
Could have given me a lift this
How can
morning.
he protect his bike? Well, we kind of covered that in the last Q&A a little bit, because I think one of his main problems is his Allen bolts are corroding. Should he just work with it, or is there anything he can do to buy anything that would replace them?
New
Well,
bulbs.
exactly that. Seriously, you can replace them.
Yeah.
You can buy a
No,
new.
but it's
Well, new ones, yeah. You can replace them if you go to any standard like screw fix, whatever. You can buy bags.
You can. But
Which
there
are
are different grades of stainless.
They've
Where
gone
are we
down
looking?
his
Where
I
chair.
don't want to show me bum to the camera. That would do. Without letting them all fall out the
Let's
open.
say,
Yeah.
for my next trip,
There's a bag of bolts. It's like describing my bike, isn't it? There's a bag of bolts. That was about, I think, about £12 worth from one of those screw fix places. You can go to them with the ones you need, and you can buy them in big bagfuls. So just replace them with stainless steel. Right?
stainless steel.
You can buy titanium ones if you're really posh
If you're posh,
and rich.
yeah.
But you can just replace them with ordinary stainless ones. Don't cost much. And if you want to protect stuff that you can't get, do the old wax thing.
Yeah.
In the winter, melt that. You know, they did a recent video, 50% wax, 50% Vaseline, melt it down, little paintbrush, just dab it on them like that. It sticks like you wouldn't believe, and it will protect them all winter. Really good.
Cool.
Okay.
Sean Yates is he's looking for a bike when he passes his licence. How do restrictor kits work? So, for example, I get 600, and he has to then lock some of the horses in the stable.
Oh, great phrase.
Yeah.
Well, how do restrictors work? Well, it depends. I mean, if you're looking at a fuel injected engine, something relatively modern, it can be done on a fuel map. If you're looking at something ancient, it can be as simple as a little
Blades.
plastic washer in the
Yeah.
air
There's
intake.
a company called FI International used to make I think they still do, they make the restrictor kits, and they take all manner of forms, don't they?
Yeah.
Normally the most common was in the inlet rubber between the carburetor or fuel injector body and the engine. they put a little disc with a smaller hole in it, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's like normally like a white nylon, isn't it?
No, they were metal. The ones I saw were metal. Some of them are made out of thin steel
But it
because
just
they actually
restricts the airflow, that's
yeah,
all it does.
all it does, it goes after the fuel mixture is created by the carburetor or fuel injector body, and it sits there and just makes a smaller hole. Literally, it is a pure, literal restriction.
I mean, they're referred
It
to as washers, aren't they?
Yeah,
which
that's
they
right.
kind of are, aren't they?
Well, they're actually referred to as blades.
Oh, well.
That's what FI International call them. But they're a washer with an oval hole in,
Yeah.
and it lets the charge in at a lower rate, so it restricts some of the horses in the stable. It puts a smaller door on the stable, so that only the ponies can get
Only
out.
the Shetland ponies.
Only the Shetland ponies can sneak out underneath. It doesn't actually open the full door. And when you want to de-restrict it, you just take the carbs or whatever off, take those discs out, chuck them away, and put it back together. And I wouldn't suggest that you do that before your restriction time is up, because nobody does that. Anyway, moving right along.
Moving on.
Rubber.
Nick Green, can you recommend a good welder to start with? I don't want to have to buy a new one once I get good with it.
Oh, a welder, not a welder.
A welder, yeah, welder and machine. Well, I don't know, well, why would you buy
I saw you can't weld aluminium with wire welders.
Well, a wire welder is okay if you put aluminium wire in it, isn't it?
But what's a good starter welder? Well, the one
I
we've
would-
got is quite a good one.
Yeah, I mean that's a Clark MiG 135 Clark MiG 135 turbo. It's a great. The turbo is just a fan. It doesn't go faster like a turbocharger. It's a fan that cools it down so it can weld at full voltage for longer. And obviously, in the temperature we are today, that wouldn't
That's
anyway.
not going to be a
But
problem, is it?
no, just get the one you want at the end. Don't buy a basic one then move up, because the welding that you learn will have to be. How can I put this? A novice welder is going to be restricted and held back by a crappy little machine. If you gave a proper high-level professional machine to a novice welder and set it up, they'd be able to lay down really good welds. Simple as that. But you're going to be restricted and held back by a really low-quality welder. Don't buy stick welders, because they're only for welding up lorry trailers. Just get a MIG with gas. Don't get the gasless, because the gasless fluxed wire costs an arm and a leg. The basic ordinary wire is what you're going to go through the most. The gas doesn't cost much. I bought the gas at about £10 if you buy it in the small bottles like I do, and you can pay, I think it's £50 for the big pub bottles.
And they always run out at 8 o'clock on a Sunday evening.
Yes,
Always.
what, in the pub? just have a short instead. No, I think that's the point, is get the welder you want right at the beginning and learn with that. Buy some scrap metal and start making sculptures for your mum's garden. Because obviously welding different thicknesses of metal is the knack, and the practice you get is going to have to remain consistent. So if you're practicing on a crappy little welder, then you move up in the future, you've got to practice all over again, because it's going to weld differently. So you're retarding your ability, your forward progress in learning. So that was what I'd say. Buy the one you want, like a bike really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Buy the one you want straight away. There's no point in using them as stepping stones. It doesn't give you any benefit at all.
Right. Moving on, because we've got so many questions. 306 NWE, what age will you stop riding? Or will you ride forever? I don't think we're going to live forever.
I am.
That'll be a
I
problem.
am. I told you I'm bulletproof.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like Michael Jackson.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What is he?
Just not flame proof.
Yeah, that turned out well. didn't
Somebody emailed us the other day and said that he is 72 years old and he's just ordered his Thruxton, which he's waiting to take delivery for in April next year. That's awesome.
it? That's top man.
72 and he's just buying a new bike. So the answer is never. I never plan to stop riding at any age.
No.
But if health restricts that, then health is more important than riding. There are many other things to go and do. So what about you? You're going to give up? You've had enough, really, haven't you?
Yeah, when I've had enough. I think a lot of my problem is why I enjoy riding. There's so few women riders. Yeah, I just sometimes feel a bit odd.
I get that feeling. It's because I'm not from this planet.
Odd
you see. We're not from this planet, are we? Well, the mothership will come one day and take us all home.
Nanu,
What about you?
nanu.
No, no. Sounds like.
Yeah,
What about you?
I can't foresee any set of circumstances that would make me willingly stop riding a bike. I just, it's in me to do so. So
It was once you know rat bikes and you've embraced them, it's never going to be money, is it?
no.
Right. I think that's the answer.
Mike and Millie,
Mike
Hey.
and Billy, best friends in the world ever. Wish you were here.
all the way from Michigan. Triumph 270 or 360 crank. Obviously the timing and musical notes sound different. What are its strengths and weaknesses? Does it change the power curve?
Well,
All other conversations are now suspended while we
yeah.
discuss
This
for
is the
next
rest of the
4.5
Q&A.
hours.
Yeah. Right, first of all, the power thing,
Well, I fall asleep.
going backwards in, the power thing on the 270 Scrambler is only affected by the exhaust. The turn back on itself down the side of the bike exhaust on the Scrambler is a huge restriction in power. The pipes would be better going underneath, and Zard make an underneath 2-to-1 for the Scrambler, which does release about 8 ponies. It makes quite a difference. So the actual, I don't think there's, because you've got some quite interesting insight in this, haven't you?
Well, I find it interesting.
Yeah.
I suspect you
We're just humoring you, really. No.
will just be nodding off.
Well, I've got enough cakes, I'll be
Yeah.
okay, so
Yeah.
crack on.
Yeah.
But he knows more about this kind of thing than I do, because it's complicated stuff.
Well, the physics of a 270 versus 360 is the 270 degree, or the cross-plane crank.
Cross-plane
if you
crank.
Like, if you like.
Is that like an aircraft that's
You
in
trying
an
to
angry
shut
mood?
me up or something?
I don't know why.
Yeah, and only 100 calories. You're allowed to have at least one.
He's trying to shut me up, that's what it is.
That won't do. Not enough calories.
Well, I could just
There's
say,
too much
I could
energy.
just say 270 degree every time and eat this, couldn't
Absolutely,
I?
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, 270 degree every time.
Definitely.
Perfect.
Although, having
Oh.
said that,
Lower
Next question.
reciprocal loads.
less reciprocating mass,
Yeah.
and it's about balance, isn't it?
It is.
Because the 360 engine has a perfect balance. You have the balancer on the crank and the pistons, they're moving apart from each other all the time. The engine's very smooth. You listen to a Bonneville, you get that lovely smooth burble to it. You listen to the 270, you get the fudum, fudum, fudum. It kind of seems out of balance, doesn't it? And it is physically out of balance because it vibrates more. Same as a Harley Davidson 72 degree V-twin, you get that fudum, 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 and the whole thing vibrates. Vibration is the enemy of smoothness and the enemy of performance. You will see the big V8s and stuff, big top fuel race cars that on a drag strip, they'll usually use a humpety hump V8, you know, the odd balanced one, but they're running methane. You just pour the fuel down its neck and they overcome it with sheer fuel delivery. But for general smoothness and everyday use, for me, it's always got to be a 360. It's the smoothest.
Whereas I prefer the 270 every time.
I think
because
I'm
of
going to have
the
to
sound,
cut this
Well,
here now.
some of it's the sound.
We've got questions to do.
Your boy didn't give you a hammer today.
Just as well,
We both
really.
got
I'll
heads
get
tested,
marshmallow
right?
in the face
Yeah.
in a
Right, go on
minute.
then.
Intense
Cold
idea,
word.
really.
So that's what we think, mate. We can talk about it more when you come for your holiday again.
Mm.
Next
We'll make
holiday.
it the afternoon's discussion.
And the following day and the day after that.
Yeah,
Right.
definitely.
Colbert, Quacker on the forum. Hi, Quacker. He's had his Z750 for 2 years. Do you think he should change the coolant? How often should it be done?
Yes.
Every 2 years. Every 2 years. It's
Perfectly
organic.
timed question.
Yeah, it's organic, so it degrades. So you should replace it every 2 years.
Cool.
It's only a 10-minute job, isn't it? Easy.
James McCoskey in Orcutt, California.
Ah, well,
What's the typical ratio of tyre change, rear to front, for a 386 kilo Harley bagger?
well,
He's having 2
it's
rears
a
to 1
lorry, isn't
front.
it?
Yeah.
51, isn't it? 50%. So it's going to be 2 rears to 1 front, I'd say, because the amount of weight that you're hauling. If you're hauling us off the lights, if you're accelerating a lot, you're going to scrub that back tread off quite quick, I'd have said. It's a heavy, heavy bike. Also, you don't corner much, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way, but in America you have a lot more straight roads than we do. So you're not leaning at angle. Also, they don't lean much anyway, do they? So therefore, your front tyre, which normally wears on the sides, certainly on a sports bike, you're not getting that. So your front's going to last longer because of the straight line nature. And the rear, because of the straight line nature, is going to wear quicker. Would you like a tissue, dear? Bubba, bubba. I haven't got one.
no.
You're going to have to live with that.
Oh,
So I'd say
Just rub it
about,
in, it'll be
probably,
fine.
for me,
just rub it in.
on my Fat Boy I used to use 2 rear tyres to 1 front. In the 10,000 miles I had it, I did 2 rear tyres and the front was still kind of almost okay. So I'd say 2 to 1 on a big heavy, any big heavy cruiser bike. What do you say?
I think exactly that. Exactly that.
About 2 to 1 roughly. If you're getting any different to that, then give us a shout and we'll see if we can sort out if there's something wrong to investigate for it.
Right. I'm now sticking to my questions.
Literally.
Colin Kirby. He's considering buying a paddock stand for his ST1100 Honda. It has a centre stand, as you know. I
Bit
was
big
hoping
one.
to put the front wheel in a paddock stand to keep it off the ground over winter.
Yep.
Well,
Can you use the same one for the front and back wheel?
no, different. The rear lifts either by cradling the swing arm or by 2 little pegs, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That go on little cotton reels.
Yeah.
And the front lifts by putting 2 pegs up underneath the fork legs, doesn't it?
Unless you're really posh and you've got one of those ones that goes right up under the steering head.
Yeah, it's the same thing, they're different.
Yeah.
And I think It's a good idea. Just make sure it doesn't lift the front wheel up so much that it puts the back wheel on the ground. Because obviously, measure how much your back wheel when you're on the main stand is going to be off the ground by about 2 inches at
I
the
mean,
most.
once it's clear of the ground, that's all it
Yeah.
needs to be.
So if you put I found that with the Hayabusa quite a lot. I couldn't use the front paddock stand. It was on the main stand because that would then lever
Yeah.
the back wheel into the ground by lifting too much. So you kind of need 2 paddock stands. And
Yes.
and if you go to something like ABBA stands, the really strong ones, you get a pair for good deal. So I'd go for a pair if you've got the
The
space
only
rather
thing I
than.
would say, from my own experience, at the risk of doing some reverse product placement, is don't buy a Bike Tech one. Because I have one for my SV1000.
They're a bit Fisher Price,
Yeah,
aren't they?
yeah, and then I put my Foden on it.
Foden, your Scammell TVM.
And it
You
squashed
broke
it.
it.
It squashed it.
You get with Toys R Us there, don't you?
So something the size of a pan-European would, yeah.
You need something beefy
It would
enough to
just
the job.
flatten it.
Yeah.
Right, ye old bimbler, why do you seem to have changed allegiance from Harley to Triumph?
Oh, wash your
What a
mouth
question.
out. I have not.
What a question.
We have not
I
changed
have a reason.
allegiance.
I have a reason why I did
No,
it.
yeah, but you haven't changed your psychological
Still like
allegiance.
Harleys?
I
I
love,
have no
let me say
problem.
this for the record, I love Harley Davidsons. I would have another one tomorrow if I could add it to the collection. You know, but I think this isn't just us. This is the world at the minute, my friend. Look around you. Look at America. Look at the massive explosion in Triumph classic style bikes. The Bonneville, the Scrambler, the Thruxton. Everybody's buying into these bikes. And this is a replay of the 1970s, isn't
Yes,
it?
it is, yeah.
You know, the Bonneville and the T100 and the Tiger, with the original Tiger that looked a bit like a Bonneville, back in the 70s, walked into the American market and they wiped the floor with Harleys on the racetrack and they wiped the floor with them in the sales. And that led down the road, Harley solo, they ended up tying up with the Italians, building the god-awful AMF bikes,
God, yeah.
and nearly lost their entire business because Triumph came along with a better solution. To me, Triumph, the Scrambler for me, the Bonneville for you, you said this same thing, I'll let you make that point in a minute, that they're a better bike, you can throw it around. To me, my Scrambler says, look how much fun I'm having. A Harley says, look at me, aren't I cool? And that's okay, I had no problem with that, but I like to have fun. And this is England, and we have corners. And I just love taking the Scrambler there and throwing it into corners, like I stole it. That's fantastic fun. Like you with your SV.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. I think a big heavy cruiser's okay in the right place. I still love Harleys. I'd say one. You had the
It's
same.
you. Oh, it's
That's you.
Was it that bad? Shall I shut up soon? What did you
What
find
did I
with yours?
change
You
mine?
had 2 Sportsters in a row,
2 Sportsters
then you
in
went
a
to a
row.
Bonneville. What caused you to do that?
2 reasons. One, I got priced out of the market.
Oh,
My first Sportster, brand new, was £5,000, and a new Sportster now is nearly 10. That's a lot of money, and I
It is.
can't afford one.
It is. You look at your Harley
Um,
Davidson price list. There's no Sportster under what, £9 now, 8.5.
So I can't afford to be where I was
You know.
5-6 years ago. But secondly, it's the weight. I've managed to get that Triumph down 9 stone lighter than my Sportster.
7, wasn't it? 7 stone.
7,
7
9?
stone lighter. In all.
In all.
In all, it's 7 stone lighter. Which is a person.
Yeah.
Small.
Or a very big rucksack.
So for me, hauling a Harley
Full of
around
kids.
was, especially in the roads where we live, tiny little roads, little
Country
twists and turns,
Yeah.
it was getting harder and harder for me to hold that bike in corners.
Just manoeuvrability,
round.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Manoeuvrability, getting it on and off the
Still
stand.
love Harleys, still love Sportsters, still love the sound of them, but for me,
Yeah.
the Triumph is so much easier to ride.
There is there's no way about it. That a Harley Davidson's still the best sound ever, isn't it? Harley Davidson engine still makes the best engine sound of all time for me.
On that road.
On that note, that's how it is.
Ginger Biker says, what's the best first sports bike?
First sports bike. My first sports bike, Fisher Price.
Fisher Price, yeah. Is that like My Little Pony?
Not if you have to lock them in a
It's
stadium.
difficult now though, because when we were first riding, or when I was first riding, and I had that baby blade,
Yeah.
that was a sports bike, but now you
Yeah.
look at them, they're race track bikes
They
almost for the road.
Yeah.
So
exactly
they're a
that.
lot different.
They've become more
to what they
intense,
are.
haven't they? The full-on sports bikes are focused. I mean, the Fireblade now is a tiny little thing, smaller than a CBR6
Yeah.
of 10 years ago.
Well, you see, 10 years ago, I would have said a CBR 600.
Yeah, because it's a big bike, wasn't it?
It was a nice bike, quite comfy, not too cramped.
Yeah, definitely. But now, they're tiny little
I don't
things.
know.
I think the problem is it's got to be something that suits you and your size and your frame. If you're 5'11" and 15 stone, you're going to look like a Teletubby
Yeah.
on a little bicycle. It just doesn't work. You need something bigger. If, on the other hand, you're kind of smallish, you know, you're what, 9 stone and 5'7", then you're going to look great on an R1. That's the point. Is what not so much you look like; it's the physical fun in riding, isn't it?
And also, don't restrict yourself to a classic sports bike. I mean, think about things like, well, like the street triples or the speed triples.
Definitely.
I mean, that is, it's
A street triple.
It's a sports bike with no plastic on it.
Yeah, it is. Street triples are absolutely awesome. Everybody loves them, even Blardy Blah apparently. And of course, they come with a clock
They
on
come
them.
with a clock.
They come with a clock, so you can even tell the time when you're running along.
Apparently.
Just saying.
So we can get home at the time. Nomad Lad,
Nomad.
recently bought an 08 F800 GS. That's a Scott Oiler on. Do you have to maintain the Scott Oiler in any particular way?
You'll fill it up, haven't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
You've got to keep it filled up.
Occasionally.
Yeah. Also, I find with mine on the Scrambler and the Tiger, I adjust the amount of oil delivery per the weather. If it's
Yes.
really chucking it down, I turn it right up so it drowns oil through the chain, and if it's really nice and dry, I turn it right back down so it just keeps it a bit damp. So you can adjust them, you can fine tune them, but all you got to do is fill them up, isn't it?
And also, if you are using Scott Oiler's own oil,
Yeah.
they do actually offer 2 grades of oil for when it's very cold. Don't
That's
they?
right,
Offer
they
a
do.
thinner
Yeah.
version.
But you can also use
But
chainsaw oil.
Exactly.
Chainsaw oil is brilliant and it's cheap, and even better in the absolute winter when you don't want anything sticking to your chain at all, use 2-stroke oil because it's quite
Yeah.
runny, doesn't cost anything by
Yeah.
comparison.
It'll
Does it?
coat the back of your jacket.
It'll coat it, yeah, you waterproof the back of your jacket as well, and the visor of the rider behind you.
Okay. Mark Ullier, I think we kind of covered this with Bex earlier.
Right.
Wanted to know the best way to lap a carb bike for winter.
Questions about the carbs. So we can, laying up a bike's a massive subject.
Yeah.
But if it's
Yeah.
about carbs, just run them dry, innit?
Right, yeah.
Run them dry. Just turn the fuel supply off, run the engine until it coughs out completely. Then the carbs are empty. And if you're really going to lay it up for a while, take a screwdriver, a little stubby, up under them and take the drain screws out of the bowls. So you let them completely dry. Because any residue in there sets, that it turns into a sticky toffee. When you put fresh fuel on top in the future, it releases in particles and bungs up the jets, doesn't it?
And if you leave those open, obviously don't forget in the spring.
Well, you'll only forget shortly, really.
If you leave those open, yeah,
Yeah. That's
it will stop any
It will-
The petrol
condensation and anything like that.
Yeah, yeah. What you can do as well is take the air filter out, take the air box off.
Yeah.
Take the air box cover off and take the air filter out. That allows air to circulate through the carbs so they don't get moisture in them.
But thanks for the question, Mark.
Good question, Mark. Well done.
Jazz Poing says he's got an XV650.
Cool.
He uses the bike in the winter, but the front of the engine is very corroded. How can he fix it without taking the engine out? Can he paint it? It's
Yeah.
very corroded and it looks awful.
You can spot paint them. Now, again, I've got to refer this to the legend that was Milo.
Yeah.
Now, what you can do is a thing called spot painting, which simply means painting little spots of the bike. And it means preparing it first of all, and you can do little things that I learnt from Milo, like take an old toothbrush and just wrap some wire wool or some Scotch-Brite around it and rub into the little areas to prepare them ready for paint. Get it all clean afterwards and that's ready to paint. But if the bike's in the frame, just start masking everything off. Mask up the frame rails, mask up the exhausts, everything you don't want paint on, even little bits of masking tape around the bolt heads. And then when there's only the bits you want painted left, you just lay up some engine lacquer, nice silver engine lacquer, if it's silver, or black, it's black, and then just spot paint it, little just until it's all coated, and let it dry, and you'll be surprised, it will look 100% better.
Yeah.
And again, Jason used to do that, the old Valet guy, just used to take an old bike we got in stock, you could really tonce it up, make it look great with that. So a little bit of TLC. Just use common sense, isn't it?
Okay, Brian's
Okay.
bikes. Best way to keep your visor from misting up on cold winter mornings.
Yeah, they should have glasses as well.
Well, yeah. Well, we were talking about this earlier. I mean, I think the whole world has agreed that pinlock visor inserts are fantastic, and I think they're probably the only visor treatment, for want of a better word, that I've
Yeah.
ever found that truly works.
Yeah.
But the problem, if you're like me and you wear glasses, is stopping your glasses steaming up. And let's say we were discussing this earlier, and actually, the only thing that stops glasses steaming up is airflow.
Yeah.
And I have a nice pair of ventilated goggles that I use with my open face lid,
Yeah.
and that works really well.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, those lids, like Bill, Tattoo Bill, you've got that sharp lid,
Yeah.
and that comes with the Z-lensed visor goggles,
Goggles.
like motocross goggles, and they go over your glasses, and they've got vents, don't they?
yeah,
All round, and that airflow also eliminates your breath as well, so you don't get, because most of the steaming up is from your breath, it's
Yeah.
nothing to do with anything else. So if you can isolate that, sometimes a Respro Bandit,
Yeah.
Your respiro mask with the metal pinch across the nose to isolate your breath away, so it's only going downwards. That does a good job. And obviously, I find also with my arrow lid is because you've got the little keep your chin warm thingy underneath.
Yeah.
If you stretch that forward out the way and you keep your collar down, if you have a collar up to here, it's sealed underneath.
Yeah.
If the underneath of your helmet is clear and free, then your breath goes downwards and it doesn't steam up so much.
My shark lid has a thing under there. Well,
Yeah.
that's gone in the bin.
Yeah, take
For
them out.
exactly that reason. It's all about airflow.
That's right, once that's flown out. So there's a question.
Ernst Wondering says, in a few words as possible, how would you describe...
Oh, we don't do that.
I would say.
It's got to be
that
wordy,
could-
I'm
That
afraid.
could be tricky, that, yeah.
Go on.
describe the feel experience difference between the Scrambler and the Bandit, please.
The Scrambler
Just
and the
the
Bandit.
feel, not technical.
The
Just
feel.
the feel. What's the difference between the Scrambler and the Bandit as far as you're concerned?
Right. The Bandit is a UJM. It's a universal Japanese motorbike. It's middle of the road in everything. It does everything you want it to do, but nothing remarkable. The Scrambler, on the other hand, feels like what it is. It's a fun scratch bike. It's a hooligan bike that you just want to hoon it everywhere. That's to do with the weight and the handling as well. They're very similar, oddly enough. It's difficult to put that in just a few words.
Different bikes.
They're very, very different bikes. I mean, weight-wise, they're roughly the same. Power-wise, the Bandit's got a bit more. Fuel consumption, they're about the same. Oddly enough, if you rode them both blindfolded, they're not that dissimilar. But I think there's also the other issue that one's 15 years old and the other one's nearly new. So that 15-year difference makes fuel injection against carbs. There's the differences there. But a modern Bandit 12 today against that, I'd say you've got a far superior bike. So there's a twist to it. Cool. Hope that helps.
That was a lot of words.
That was a difficult one.
That was a lot for not a lot.
It was, wasn't it? Yeah. So I can make all sorts out of it. Here's what you have.
RS2K, Lee. Heated grips or gloves? Are grips better? Would you be better off buying heated gloves that plug in or ones with batteries in, hardwired? Would you have to upgrade the battery to cope with it if you did?
Grips. For me, it's hot grips and bar muffs.
Yeah.
If it's the Arctic, absolute freezing cold. Hot grips because you're gripping hold of them, and then bar muffs to keep the heat in.
Yeah.
What about you? You like your hot grips, don't you?
Yeah, I had heated grips on my Triumph when I got it, and once you've had that, you wouldn't
You can't
not
go without
want
them, can you?
Even on a hot sunny day, I put them on.
This is poignant because Mr. Dyson's grips packed up on the way over here, and he came here with little blue pinkies. Needed to break them against
Yeah,
the
to thaw him out when
yeah,
you
to
go
thaw them
there.
out in a cold tap first.
But
to warm
I
them
found
up.
if you take one boot off, it takes your mind off it.
Yeah, when you got frostbite in your leg,
Yeah.
don't worry about your hands.
No, your hands ain't cold
So
anymore.
I'd go for heated grips.
Yeah, heated
Make
It'll make your
gloves.
life a lot easier.
And the problem is
Nicer.
that heated gloves are quite bulky.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
like thin gloves. I think a good glove with a thin palm, so you get lots of heat through the palm. Thick boxing glove type thing's no good with hot grips because it doesn't get through them to your hands, does it?
I have a pair of freebie gloves that came with Bike Magazine years ago, which are really, really warm, but they're so thick and bulky. You know, well, you just
Can't
think,
do
That's
anything.
brotherly love, isn't it?
it is. You don't bother indicating.
No.
You just because the thumb doesn't move. But yeah.
Just go like that. Like a Morris Minor arm, isn't it? General Bomb the
Anyway,
Bastards.
moving swiftly
Right,
on.
go. Next
Actually,
one.
this relates to the last one, Lee, as well. Glenn Penfold, what did you ask Santa for and did you get it? Derek will say no. I asked for something very, very special.
What did you get? What did you get? What did you
I got
ask
something
him?
very, very special.
Go on then.
A heated jacket.
On that note, yeah. It's quite nice.
And it's transformed it. Absolutely transformed it. It was a very, very special present, but I'm absolutely over the moon with it. You just plug it into the bike battery. You wear a little t-shirt,
Yeah.
wear your heated liner, powerlet,
Powerlet heated
and put your jacket on, and that's it. And we went up to London. We were out, good 12
It was
hours.
the video, wasn't it? It was the Christmas ride around London that's on video. That was till 14 hours on it, out in about 2-3 degrees. You almost toast all day. Nice present.
And obviously it's pumping your blood warm, so it pumps it down to your hands warm. So if you're really, really nice to someone, they might buy you one.
I got tool vouchers. Tools is always good. Can't have enough tools, can you? You just need someone to keep them all.
Yeah.
What about you,
Dave,
mate?
did you
I got
get
exactly what I wanted, and it's got nothing to do with bikes at all.
it? It doesn't
really?
matter.
Yeah, we were in a bric-a-brac shop. Now you're gonna laugh. You're gonna laugh.
my life already.
Yeah, it's
So
a bit
soon,
like
my
that.
dear.
We were in a bric-a-brac shop some while ago, and I spotted this 1930s American fire extinguisher off a fire engine.
Oh,
Very cool. Very
And
cool.
I waxed lyrical about
Oh,
this
my
thing. Well, of
goodness.
course, it turned up.
No.
Oh
lovely.
my goodness.
So we're going to clip that on the pig outside. It's got to go on there, isn't it? That's the sort of rat bike thing, isn't it? I'll have that on my bike.
But it
It's a
stands
big
that tall. Yeah, it's a
That's
big
all
one.
right.
Yeah.
Big fire.
Cool. Well, we hope you all had a nice
Yeah, we
Christmas
have,
and got
yes,
all the
it.
things
Hope you
that
got what you wanted as well. Yeah.
The Perkins Focus. How do you polish or remove rust from the slide pins on a floating calibre?
Ah, that's the old drill trick, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you can put them in the drill, like I did with the brake
Have you
pins.
got a video on?
Yeah, I did.
got
Yeah.
a
You've
video
got.
on this. We've
If
got
you
video
can
on
take
it.
the pin out and put at least a centimetre of one end of it into the drill chuck, put the drill upside down in your vise, spin it up, and then just with some 1200 grit wet and dry, just hold it against it or stroke gently against it, and it will actually turn and spin all the corrosion and muck off it, and then you can polish it auto sole, can't you?
Yeah,
You can-
that's all brilliant.
Auto sole gets them up mirror polished, re-grease them, and then put them back together. Works a treat.
Cool.
Cool.
Niall Barron he says slimy, wet, wintry Dublin.
Oh, that's right. Hello.
It's no different here.
It's no different here, right?
He had a low speed crash on a roundabout recently, and he slid about 15 feet on the side on his Blackbird.
Oh, that just sounds horrible, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Thought of it. A
He's
blackbird laying down its
scratched the
Yeah.
sides bearings
feel
and
the
the
plastic
exhaust.
going
He really doesn't want to replace them. Obviously, it's going to be very expensive, but
Right.
they don't look good.
Mm.
What can he do? Is there anything he can do to make that look a whole lot
Yeah,
better?
I'm going to grab something to show you this. So I need to get up there.
I'm going to get out of your way.
That's alright, it's up there. I did this on a bike ages ago. This is what I would suggest you do. First of all, it's scratched, it's damaged. So it doesn't matter if you get some sandpaper into the damaged area. Now what you need to do is, with some masking tape, mask a shape of some description round the damaged area that borders it completely. Then get some wet and dry on a block. Now what I mean by that is, get a solid block and wrap the wet and dry paper around it so it's rock hard. And then block out the scuffs so they don't, you can't
Yeah,
feel
he
them.
said on here that he's seen some people with Harleys with a 3,000 grit sandpaper.
Yeah, you can get, we don't need 3,000, I'm talking use an 800, then a 1200, and it's just to get the rough bits off, that's all. Then, this, I bought this from the internet, it's just decal vinyl. And all you do with this is you cut, you can buy any colour, this is gloss black, you can buy matte black, you can buy any colour, pretty
colour.
much, even clear. And you can, whatever colour your bike is, if it's black or tungsten, whatever, get a matching colour and just cover it with that. You can literally stick it over it. Put it on, if it's a nice flat panel, you can blade it on with a rubber spatula or just with your hand. Once it's on there, then my trick is, do the other side. If it
Yeah.
looks a bit different, do the other side. So it looks like a couple of bits of decal. If you can make them, if it's just a little scratch and you can make a stripe or something, you can actually be quite creative. That stuff I've used so many times to get me out of trouble when something's been damaged. Just use a bit of decal vinyl because it's good stuff. It never comes off, lasts forever and ever. And I think that, once upon a time, was about 12 feet long. It's an offcut. It's a 12-inch offcut off the end of a big sheet. eBay, 99 pence, I think, paid for that. So there you go, decal vinyl.
But give us a shout if you need
Yeah.
any help with it.
Yeah.
We're always happy to
If
try
the,
and tell
if the
you what we've
scratches
done.
are not that deep, you might be able to buff them out. But if they're the sort of scratches you can picture from a drop, they're going to be gouges, aren't they?
Yeah,
I would
that
imagine.
sort of distance down on one side, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Good luck with it,
Yeah.
Niall.
Yeah, good luck with it, mate. Let us know how you get on. Send us some photos when you finish.
And this
Hope it
one,
helps.
I'm not reading this one out. Dave can read this
It's
one.
just the name.
I'm not reading that.
Who is it?
Number 50.
This is Mr. Cum Wizard.
Show us your wand.
Sure. Apparently he's got a shiny wand. Cool name, maybe. Right, go on
But
then.
not to read out a Q&A.
No.
Not
go
by
on.
me, anyway.
That's why he wants it read out. Go on.
Anyway, to fix up or clean the chrome exhaust that's scratched from a low side.
Chrome rather than stainless.
Chrome, nothing you can do with
Well,
chrome.
I mean,
is it,
chrome
really?
is not that thick actually, and once you've scratched it, you're through it. And
Yeah.
Pills
It is
and-
microns thick, if that.
yeah.
All I would do with it is you can buy chrome paint.
You can. Yeah.
You can buy paint that is almost as good as chrome. So I don't know how heat-proof it is or where
Oh,
it is. If it's
I
on a
don't really
silencer, you'll be all right.
Also depends what
It was-
bike it is. I mean, you can always wrap the exhaust, but
Yeah. I mean, over
That's
the
nice,
years,
anyway.
the sort of sheds I've ridden that have had
Yeah.
you know, been down the road and the chrome is knackered, it's black paint.
Yeah, I mean you can
Yeah.
scuff it out. I mean use a file, then some wet and dried, then finer and finer and finer, and you can polish it out. So it's like a mirror.
Yeah.
You get a buffer on it, but you're actually polishing up the steel and the nickel. You're not
Because
polishing the chrome's gone.
The chrome is just microns thick.
Yeah, it's gone. That's already gone. So if it's only that much, you could paint it, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Or just perhaps have it re-chromed if you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Afford it.
I mean, actually, chrome is not that expensive.
Oh, it is.
Well, it depends who you know, doesn't it?
Yeah, but if you find a local chrome shop, they might do it because they don't like dipping exhausts because they've got soot in them. Haven't they?
Yeah. Well, what you need to do is you need to find someone that uses a local chrome.
Yeah.
Tuck it in
with
place,
another
and then
job.
you tuck it in with another job.
Okay,
So,
cool.
right, maybe that helps. Hope.
Triumph Zippo, he says that he bought a BMW Boxer Cup on impulse. Wish we
Really?
could do that
Blimey.
Is that like
the other
finance?
day.
No, it's the ocean.
Oh, that's the one.
Do you know much about the bikes? Well, you know
They don't
Dale, because
smell.
you had one.
I didn't have a real one. I had a replica. There are no real ones. The race bikes. It won't be one of them because obviously they were race bikes. Like they're a £70,000 bike, and you wouldn't have bought that. But it will be one of the replicas, I'm sure. BMW for a while made. I think Randy Mamola, the race rider, was the guy that promoted it. It was a simply a one-make series, the Boxer Cup. It was the BMW R850R, I think.
Oh, I'm not sure.
It was a BMW 850 Boxer with kind of a half nose fairing,
Yeah.
blue and white, check bodywork.
I thought
Just
that was-
Google it. If you Google a BMW R850 Boxer Cup, that's what I had. I had one of those for a little while. Wholly disappointing, not an interesting bike, pretty poor performance, very mediocre, but then that's because they were a visual replica of the race bike, which
Yeah.
would have been a fully prepared
And
race bike.
actual Beamer Boxer race bikes in their day were quite
Oh,
impressive bits of
absolutely,
kit,
yeah. But
particularly their sidecars.
Yeah, but they cater these days for their audience.
Yeah.
So I'd say
It was
that
a long time ago.
it was a long time ago. I had no experience. It was just an R850 with a replica
Had one for a
bodywork.
while, and that was it.
Yeah, certainly not an investment of any kind.
One UK rider.
Hey, mate.
What's been your best moment of the year so far?
Damn.
I know
that's
what it
easy.
is. I know.
That's
it's
easy.
easy.
Go on.
I
You.
know what it is.
Go on.
It's the forum and the Idiot Collective and how that's grown.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
The
yeah.
moment we rafted up at the Ace Cafe,
With 97 of us.
having opened up the collective to the world
Yeah.
in general,
Yeah.
and that trepidation of is it going to work? Are
Yeah.
people going to be interested?
Yeah, I'll go with that.
And we rafted up at the Ace Cafe.
And you get people come and
And
go,
it
and
was
you get
just-
some people turn up and don't.
That
but
was-
Do you
there's
remember
a
actually?
group of people that are brilliant, great
Yeah.
friends.
We,
now.
did, we had the guys from Essex, didn't we?
Yeah.
We had
Yeah,
Idiot
Joe-
Collective members all over.
Joe from Essex.
Joe from Essex and his friends came along, and we had there were 97 of the Idiot Collective there that day, weren't there? And it was the Triumph's Classic Day.
Yeah.
Do you remember? And we all parked outside the Ace Cafe. I don't know if you know the dynamics of the place, but outside the doors they have all the show bikes. So we parked all our bikes outside because no one else got there as early as us,
No,
did we?
no.
And the guy who owns the place came out with a tannoy like he likes to do, and he shouted to everybody, "Can all these bikes move, please? Because this is for all the show bikes." And we all moved, and there was one
There
bike
was
left,
one.
just one classic Triumph. And who did that belong to?
One of ours.
One of us. So I think we did.
Yeah.
I think as the day went on, we were
That-
still the largest.
yeah.
You know that.
And
Yeah.
in actual fact, and as we've continued through the year with the other things we've done and the other events we've been
Definitely.
to,
Well, and
the
it
fact
inspired.
that it has it's maintained its sort of
and what
momentum,
a
yeah.
friendly bunch, because it inspired Mike and Melly to fly all the
Yeah,
way from
That was.
Michigan.
I'd say that's definitely an equally great
Amazing.
moment for the year for me.
Yeah.
Was that Mike and Melanie Wrench came over from Michigan, from Detroit, Michigan. They flew across. They stayed at a very small hotel, country hotel near here, and they came out and ride out with 106 of us.
it was something like
It was
that.
like that, wasn't it? In the end, we had a fantastic ride that day. So that was a really defining moment for me. Was Mike and Melly's visit coming over here, the investment.
Everyone
in,
stepped up, everyone turned
We
up
did.
that day, and we took them on a fantastic ride down the beach.
Yeah.
Coast Road.
We had, it was a proud moment because it proved that we galvanised a group of people that were very much like-minded, very caring and giving people who all gave two visitors from 3,000 miles away, hopefully a good holiday that they really enjoyed. And also, imagine the leap of faith in getting on an aircraft, flying 3,000 miles to meet some bikers you've met on a forum. Really?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
They must be mad.
Yeah.
But also,
thankfully we stepped up.
we've also got people that will come from, like
Yeah.
Tattoo Bill, all the way from Margate. You've got Copperfish and Boise from Swindon and
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bristol. Yankee Doodle come all the way from Devon just to come and
That's
have
right.
a cup of
Just
tea
to
with
drink
you.
tea and eat
Jules.
cake with a bunch of
Look at
idiots.
Jules.
Jules,
Jules
yeah.
rode from up where it's cold and black
They
and
met us
white.
at the 8, or so many
Jollyland.
people. We can't
Yeah.
name them all, but so many
Well, we
people.
yeah.
routinely have a couple from Wales, don't we?
Yeah.
Definitely.
They come over for the pop over
Yeah.
for the
Me.
day.
Let's me pop over, get the passports out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We also, I mean, 12 seconds on the drag strip on the Tiger, the Bulldog Bash, that was a cool moment. I didn't think a big adventure shed would go that quickly, but it did, so that was a cool moment. Going down the strip 5 times
So
to try
yeah,
and do it quickly.
I think that's been the greatest
That
thing,
is,
and
yeah.
2015 will be even better. And if you're not part of the Idiot Collective, why not?
Yeah, exactly.
I am.
You're missing it.
And just to end this one,
Go on.
he wants to
Last
know,
one.
Dave, what is your favourite cake?
Oh,
Oh, that's a hard one. Do you want some time?
That is.
Would you like some
What,
samples?
think
what
we
I
need
need,
a cup of
what
tea
I
to
need to
think
do is
about
to
it.
try them all.
Try them all. And in the next episode, you can come back and answer that.
Yeah, it's very difficult. I've got a few ideas.
Do we
but-
need to make this a to be continued?
Yeah.
Oh,
We
yeah,
do, don't we?
definitely.
See ya.
To be
Definitely.
continued.
Well, if
Right.
you'd like to send me some samples of what you think I might like,
Yeah.
Mr. Kipling,
Mr. Kipling, yeah, McVitie's, we can have, can't we?
we gotta go.
We gotta go. Take it easy. Thanks for watching number 8. See you soon.
That's it.